Hello explorers, thanks for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. If you are joining for the first time, I appreciate your time as always. Listen folks, Africa is the only continent in this particular globe that we are today that has failed to recognize the importance of its own security. Africa does not protect its borders. Africa's borders are porous. They are insecure in a number of areas. I know what you'll be thinking now, that why am I bringing this topic at this particular time? I'm bringing this topic because the geostrategic partners have sensed weakness in the continent of Africa's own protection and security. They have realized that the continent of Africa is not completely protected, whether it is the waterways, your ports, your businesses, your cross-border trade, with regards to security issues concerning challenges that the continent of Africa is facing in a number of areas. If you cannot protect your own nationals, assure them with regards to protection and security in a whole lot of areas, and you lack the capacity, which geopolitical partners have sensed, that you cannot at this moment guarantee the protection of your own continent. You open the doors, you give them the opportunity, the room to build military bases, to secure their own businesses in the different African nations. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because it comes at a time that the European Union can no longer save you, the continent of Africa. The United States of America can no longer protect you in the continent of Africa. China is bogged down in regards to trade issues with the United States of America. China can only protect you to this extent. The Russians are also involved in their own particular security issues regards to the Russian-Ukrainian war, which is ongoing at the moment. They can to an extent, but again, Africa, you must step up and protect your nationals.
Africa must increasingly look inward, developing indigenous industries, fostering innovation, and strengthening defense economies to reduce dependency and build resilience.
Protect your borders, otherwise you will keep complaining that the geostrategic partners are building military bases in your continent. Because why? You have failed to step up to the plate to take action and protect your own countries. And you can't complain that the United States of America is having a big base in different countries across the region, that France continue to stick into the Sahel region, and more importantly in some West African countries, because these countries have invested billions of US dollars into the continent of Africa, and they cannot sit behind. The Chinese can't just sit behind and see their own nationals who have invested billions, or the national government have invested billions of US dollars into your own country, and you cannot protect those businesses. For that reason, they continue to work out ways to ensure that they can protect their own nationals, protect their own investment, and ensuring that to an extent, make sure that they can, if they can, give you some element of those security.
Nigeria is taking center stage in regional security by hosting the very first African Chiefs of Defense Staff Summit in Abuja, marking a major step towards stronger security partnerships across the continent. This critical three-day gathering convenes top military commanders and defense experts from across Africa to address pressing challenges under the theme Combating Contemporary Threats to Regional Peace and Security in Africa, the Role of Strategic Defense Collaboration.
Again, the continent of Africa's waterway is so open and wide that Africa has become a porous continent that can no longer think of investing in military aspect, investing in its own technology to protect the continent. I know what you'll be thinking now. Why are you bringing this topic at this time? I'm bringing this topic because this has been long overdue, and the countries across the continent of Africa have come to the point they have realized that the geopolitical partners can no longer protect them, cannot give them the cover that they are looking for, and for that reason, the countries across the region met in the country of Nigeria and capital, Abuja, to discuss fundamentals regards to why Africa must step up to the plate and start showing some leadership in terms of its own security and give some sense of assurance to its own people, because the geopolitical partners are laughing at you that you cannot protect your own continent. Let's play this clip.
The three-day meeting wrapped up with calls for stronger regional alliances and practical strategies to confront Africa's security challenges, from terrorism in the Sahel and piracy in the Gulf of Guinea to the many insurgencies that continue to threaten vulnerable states. Defense chiefs said Africa must begin to trust itself to do this and so no longer be dependent on foreign support.
Africa must increasingly look inward, developing indigenous industries, fostering innovation, and strengthening defense economies to reduce dependency and build resilience.
That message came to life at the defense exhibition, where firms unveiled Made in Africa armored carriers, drones, ballistic gears, and rifles.
Our drones are also being produced here in Nigeria as well. Our vehicles come in as we call it CKD, so we also do that here in Nigeria as well. So most of our productions are actually in our factory here in Nigeria.
Our own production of ammunition will be in December, first one in January with Dicon D7G, 60 million of ammunitions in the year, and Dicon will produce 30 million in the year.
From 1st of September, we start the production of the DG-103, which is an equivalent of the AK-103 rifles.
If you cannot show some sense of sovereignty, you can't just talk about sovereignty from your own particular bedroom or from your own government pulpit. You have to step up and show the geopolitical partners that you do have the knowledge, you do have the skills, what it takes to build local build materials or local technology to implement them in the battlefield. If you look at the cost of weapons, if you look at the cost of military gears around the world, Africa, to an extent, a number of countries cannot afford this particular gear produced in some international nations or your so-called geopolitical partners in the aspect of security. It is about time for you to continue to work closely and harmonize and look into your own particular skills that you have to ensure that your people can see some sense of guarantee in your own development and growth and start believing in the system. Meetings like this are important at this time where Africa is going through an incredible transition and more importantly trying to pick up itself, because it is clear if you don't sit up, you are on your own. Let's play this clip.
The displays highlight African innovation in designing equipment suited to local needs. Exhibitors said the next big step is to train operators.
They need a certain amount of training, entry level, intermediate, ongoing, and advanced training to be able to use the equipment that they buy proficiently.
Africa setting its sight on producing up to 80% of its defense needs locally, cutting costs, saving foreign exchange, and creating jobs. And as the summit ended, the takeaway was clear. Africa's security will no longer be imported. It must be designed, built, and sustained from within. For defense chiefs, Abuja marks only the beginning of that journey. Kelechi Emekalam, CGTN Abuja, Nigeria.
Why is this important now coming at this time? It comes at a time when the countries across the region, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, have break-up ties with the colonial organization called ECOWAS. It is important to know that these countries are facing tremendous challenges, and more importantly, they have resort to looking for solutions from other geopolitical partners like the country of Russia. More importantly, if you do have 90% of your security coming from another country, to an extent, it means you do not have total security or privacy and protection. These are amazing times across the region, and for leaders to come together at this particular critical time in African history, it means they are getting the message that the United States of America cannot provide you the cover, Europe can no longer provide you the cover, the Russians cannot provide you the cover 100%, and the Chinese will not do that. Irrespective of what you think, you must step up to the plate to take responsibility and show your nationals that it's not going to be business as usual. We're going to harmonize from within, and we can showcase our own capacity. Let's play this clip.
With no end in sight, this summit, attracting military chiefs from over 50 African countries, is intended to help craft a new architecture of African-led security cooperation. Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, commends African troops for its immense contribution in global peace operations. Mohammed wants Africans to tackle the root causes of insecurity and entrench democratic principles on the continent.
This era, a new era of peacekeeping, also brings with it an opportunity for a new face. That face has to be younger, more diverse in people and skills that will work with communities on the front and the day after. And that includes, Excellencies, women.
According to ECOWAS, the key to restoring peace on the continent is a regional force. Representative of the President of the ECOWAS Commission calls on the United Nations to fulfill its pledge to fund 75% of Africa-led peacekeeping force. The summit is a rallying cry from the host and Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff. General Christopher Musa describes Africa's security challenges as complex and borderless, insisting that only an African-led security architecture could guarantee stability.
The enemy is within. As Chiefs of Defense Staff and heads of our armed forces, we must lead the charge in modernizing our forces, investing in cyber defense, artificial intelligence, and indigenous military technology, without which it will be difficult for us to achieve our security.
Africa, if you cannot show your geopolitical partners, the investors, the businesses coming to invest in the continent of Africa, that you can step up to the plate and demonstrate some level of sovereignty. I'm talking about sovereignty here, not just in words. Indeed, you need to prove it out. You must strengthen your waterways, protect your fisheries, protect your borders. The African Continental Free Trade Area cannot just go unnoticed, that you cannot provide the security to cross-border trade, and more importantly, not just security in cross-border trade, but allowing traders, businessmen who travel across borders using trains, buses, and a whole lot of other very important transport networks that need incredible security at this time. If you think that the Russians or the Chinese or the United States of America, including Europe, and some other emerging powers, including Turkey, will provide you the wonderful security that you are thinking of, then you are lying to yourself. The global economy is shaky. Africa, you must strengthen your capacity, protect your borders, your waterways, and show that sense of belonging, that you understand the changes in the geopolitical environment and you want to take up some steps to protect your own people. Let's play this clip.
Nigeria is taking center stage in regional security by hosting the very first African Chiefs of Defense Staff Summit in Abuja, marking a major step towards stronger security partnerships across the continent. This critical three-day gathering convenes top military commanders and defense experts from across Africa to address pressing challenges under the theme Combating Contemporary Threats to Regional Peace and Security in Africa, the Role of Strategic Defense Collaboration. Our correspondent Emmanuel Macron files this report from Abuja.
The inaugural 2025 African Chiefs of Defense Staff Summit convenes defense ministers, security experts, and chiefs of defense staff from across the African continent. This seminal gathering offers a vital opportunity for member states to unite their resources and expertise, forging a collective front that not only confronts existing security threats, but also strategically shapes a secure and prosperous future for Africa.
Let me know in the comment section what you think regards to meetings like this and why African nations should do more of these and to secure their own borders and show the world that they can, to an extent, step up to the plate and provide the much needed security at this critical time in the continent's own history. I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Smash the like button and share the video, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.